G'day everybody, it's Chirk1ting. Considering my channel is mostly ghost related stuff, I thought I might do some ghost stories for the filler of my channel, just because of the fact that ghost stories have become increasingly rare. So I thought I might share my experiences because believe me, I have a lot. So without further ado, let's just get the shit on the fucking road. So, honestly, I have this thing where I can't go into a fucking school camp without experiencing something supernatural. So, what better way to start the series by telling you guys some of my fucking most wild experiences I have in my school camps as a kid. Alright, so this is one of my more scarier ghost stories, and this one took place in Bintan, the Walla Gardens, in year 7 in Dover Court, which is my old school. I don't know why, but honestly, there is something about this fucking resort, even when I first arrived at the place, that somehow seems a little off. Anyway, so I arrived and then I got complimentary drinks, so I guess it's nice, but still, the feeling was still there. It got so bad at night. At the daytime, it's actually okay because you're preoccupied with the whole activities and stuff, but at nighttime, it feels like you're being stalked by someone. Now, even as a young lad, I've been watching horror movies, and most of these horror movies involve the antagonist stalking the protagonist and picking them off one by one. So this really kind of triggered my instincts in that way. And the icing on the cake is that I am actually psychic. I have the ability to perceive ghosts. But at the same time, since I was used to seeing ghosts, I was able to keep my abilities in check and not blow it out of proportion. But one thing that really shits me up the wall as someone who is both psychic and slightly superstitious, all for the good reasons, is that a lot of people forget that you're going into an area where there's a lot of ghosts, and even though you know some of the stuff they do is superstitious, it might actually help you in some cases. Speaking of these superstitions, and I have no idea if those superstitions have any correlation to what happened during the fucking trip, but nobody has even considered knocking the door before entering their hotel room. During the day, we actually arrived at the fucking area. I mean, honestly, regardless if there's any ghosts in the hotel room, I think it's common decency to knock before entering. Anyway, so the first night in the whole camp was actually kind of okay. I did hear some cackling and I thought nothing much about it. And I did have a feeling that I was being watched during the night, but anyways, yeah, I just got through the night pretty easily. But I did manage to get through the night. As for the second night, the last night of the actual camp itself, holy fucking shit. The morning actually started off pretty smoothly. We actually got up and just got some breakfast, and then we went down to our activities. We had paintball, we had zipline. The zipline was really fun because it was so easy to actually relieve myself in the toilet because of how near the actual end of the zipline was. And the whole thing in the daytime was actually comfortable despite living in a pretty haunted resort. At nighttime, it was a completely different story. So every time a orientation camp ends, the last night we'll have this party, and the theme for this year's party is Halloween. Oh, we actually quickly got into our hotel rooms, got dressed into our costumes, and then we just left to the lobby so we can wait for other people. On the way to the lobby, I actually got a faint but very distinct scent of Plumira or frangipani flower. So immediately I was just like, what the fuck is going on? The smell got stronger the closer I got to the actual lobby itself. Once I reached the lobby, I actually got a chance to just catch my breath, see what other people are dressed up as, and as soon as everybody was here, we went from the lobby all the way to the cafeteria area. Keep in mind, by the time that happened, it was already pitch fucking black, and we were just literally making our way. Oh, thank God I have a fucking flashlight that day. Oh, remember that clearly distinct Plumira flower smell? Well, that smell quickly dissolved into the smell of fucking rotting flesh. So everybody was literally reacting to that smell, and the smell got stronger the closer we actually approached this elephant trail, which I guess it was a thing in the resort. So I immediately peered into the elephant trail to see where the smell was coming from, and I saw this whitish, like, blur just shoot past my face. Assessing that situation, I was just like, the fuck just happened? Like, what the fuck just flew past my head? And after that, I just decided, you know what? I'm not gonna let it spoil my day. I'm just gonna walk towards the area to the actual, like, canteen. So I went to the canteen. I saw that they had, like, Halloween-related decorations, and they had, like, a tombstone near the stage. So I was like, okay, this is actually kind of fun. So how this canteen works is that the canteen's actually outdoors. So as soon as my friends actually sit down with me, like my classmates, I decided to check something really quickly. And then I looked up at the sky, there was a fucking full moon. And immediately I was like, oh dear God, this is gonna be a rough night. By experience, nothing good has ever happened to me being in the haunted location at a fucking full moon. Once everybody was finished eating and we've all relieved ourselves from excess piss and shit, we decided to have a skit. Actually, it wasn't really our decision, it was kind of the school's decision. But yeah, it was actually pretty fun, and honestly, I kind of wish I stayed in the actual, like, area for a little longer. But we had to call in the night early because of Oscar's, like, he is pretty exhausted at this point in time. Oh, I decided to head back to the hotel. On the way to the hotel, I had this weird feeling that we were being stalked again. So at this point, I was like, okay, we're gonna meet up Pontianak for sure, because there's no way any of these telltale signs are just coincidence. So through the fucking pitch black dark, we actually saw movement, and everybody in that group's balls shrank. Looking back at this situation, I feel like it was kind of like one of these horror movies where they had these fake out jump scares, because our science teacher actually took a detour from the area so he can actually regroup with us. So I laughed it off. Honestly, inside I was like, you fucking bastard, you almost gave me a heart attack. So once that moment actually passed, we decided to just make our way back to the actual hotel. So we managed to reach the lobby, and my first thoughts were, okay, maybe I should just lay low a bit. But I tell them that I have this weird feeling that something's not right here. Noticing that I was really on edge, they decided, hey, yeah, this is actually very scary, and they decided to tell me a fucking story about this cannibalistic werewolf. In the middle of me feeling on edge due to a potential supernatural encounter. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, you absolute fuckwits. Obviously, the story was complete fucking bullshit and they just pulled it out of their ass, but it really worked. The straw that broke the camel's back for me was when we actually reached the hallway that leads to my fucking hotel room. Holy fuck. So I actually caught a glimpse of a woman who was wearing white gown, a completely long white gown with very long black flowing hair, and she was gliding. I shit you not, she was gliding across the hallway. The fact this bitch was gliding was all indication I need that I just saw a fucking ghost. I didn't even know if this was even a kuntilana. It could be just a regular langsui. As soon as I saw that caca, my balls just shrank, and all I could think of is fuck me sideways, get me the fuck out of here. So I ran all the way to the teacher, and I just realized suddenly, wait, if I tell what actually happened, I would be putting more trouble on people. So instead, I made a completely fucking lie and just snitched on the two that were like telling me the story. I mean, I knew the story was completely bullshit, but the fact that they were willing to tell me that in the middle of me actually being on edge due to actually encountering a fucking ghost. Yeah, no, fuck off with that bullshit, you fucking cunt. Too fucking soon, dickhead. So, honestly, to have my third eye work so hard this past few days, fuck me dead, cunt. Considering how notorious I am with avoiding a certain area if I hear something scary, even though I actually have that psychic ability to tell if the spirit or entity I face is malevolent or benevolent. And clearly, if you're talking Malay folklore, everything is malevolent at this point. Surprisingly, the two kids that actually tried to terrorize me were actually, well, they share the same name. I mean, as fucked as the story was in general, I was actually not afraid of the story, so yeah, I kind of feel bad for them and what they got. Anyway, so I was escorted to my hotel room and everybody just looked at me like I was a fucking pussy. So they actually tried to comfort me, saying that their story was clearly bullshit. No fucking shit. But my eyes were darting back and forth, trying to look for that fucking ghost that has eluded my vision. Because the last thing I fucking need was for that fucking bitch to come back when I have sleep paralysis or some fucking shit. Anyway, so after a while, I was able to actually gain enough sanity and calm myself enough to actually get a shower and just head to bed. Anyways, that was a pretty fucking eventful last fucking day of the fucking camp. The Japanese Oscar, the one that actually made the story, yeah, I feel so bad for him. He didn't manage to go to the other camp, which will be our next story, but hopefully he understands after watching this video that I actually had good intentions for getting him into trouble. So this next story actually takes place in the reward camp, and we're gonna get to it. Right, so this next story takes place in Malaysia. We went for the reward camp I was telling you guys about in the last story. Our hotel was ran down. It was literally just opposite to a fucking oil plantation. So you can probably guess what's gonna happen later on. This time my roommate was Ari and Asiokis. Actual hotel room was actually kind of a chalet or some sort of fucking shit, I have no idea. But it has to require a lot of manpower to lug my fucking heavy ass luggage up the hill. So when we managed to get to the actual hotel room itself, we put all our luggage down, we went to the pool area so we can swim until it was actually dinner time. So when it actually was dinner time, we decided to get changed, and this other kid, which I'm not gonna name for privacy reasons, actually joined us. Once everybody was finished changing, we decided to head down to the actual canteen area to get some food. We recorded the whole way, by the way, and we almost got hit by a fucking motorbike, and that wasn't the least of our worries actually. So I got a little overexcited, and then I got reprimanded by the school prefect, which I guess, yeah, I fucking deserved that shit. After the scolding, I was actually sent to the canteen to get some food, and then I sat with my other classmates, and then we just dug in. I decided to review my footage just in case I got something really cool. And then one of my classmates invited me to their hotel room to actually thoroughly review the footage, so I guess I had to, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. So after the meal and the briefing, we decided to head to the room where my classmate invited me into. So my friend took the camera and actually reviewed the footage, and he found the part where I was nearly at the canteen. So he actually said there was a figure standing right in front of us, and I didn't notice it even though I have the third eye because I was sticking around in the whole way. So I didn't notice. Noticing the figure was clearly white, I actually was taken off guard. I mean, I've already had an encounter with Miss P in Bintan, so I was hoping it was a Orang Bunyan or Badara. As the entire room was well versed in Malay folklore, the entire atmosphere in that room suddenly shifted all the worst ways. Li Tonghan and I were literally trying to jot down all the different spirits in Malaysia that could actually identify what that figure was. This is why I'm planning to make a field guide, but yeah, anyways, back to the actual story. So later, the teacher actually came, told us to actually just pack it up. It wasn't really a good night because we keep hearing these strange noises, and my roommate and I were literally just on edge. Oh, you thought that was the only weird thing I saw that trip? No. Let's fast forward to the third day. So the third day was amazing. I actually had a fun time just going on the zip line, having paintball. I was popping off until the last second when I actually ran out of ammo. I mean, that loss of momentum was drastic. I literally had to run all the way to spawn to switch markers and run back. And by the time I went back, I got hit point blank, literally at the fucking clavicle. Yeah, nah, this was absolutely fucking crazy. So after calling my hits and walking back to spawn, the game ended, and then we proceeded to our next and probably the most highlighted activity, caving. Upon hearing that we got caving next, I was over the fucking moon because this is my first time actually going into a cave to explore. So we got on the buses and we head to the location where the caves are. There were two caves. I picked the adventure cave because I'm an adventurous cunt. So the actual route to the cave itself, it was actually kind of an adventure. We went into this jungle area, and then there was this cave-ish area. I know it wasn't the actual cave, but boy was it actually really hard to navigate. So once we navigated there, we went to this like area where it was just completely clear. And then we actually found the entrance to the adventure cave, which is very tiny. Obviously, due to how fucking small I am, I got it. I was easily able to get through. While exploring that particular part of the cave, I realized how lack of social awareness the other students are. Because they almost died at one point while I almost slipped in back guano like 15 fucking times. To give you an idea of how much fucking back guano there is in that cave, my entire leg was covered in shit. Like, fucking feet to my fucking waist, absolutely covered. I look like I just broken free from quicksand. So basically this entire ordeal, I kept swearing every time I slipped. Obviously the teacher, well, okay, this time it was okay because he understand what I was going through, but at the same time, I guess he was worried that all the cave spirits are gonna get like offended at how much I actually swear. After that, we decided to head back, and then there's this other group which actually joined us. It was the same group Lee Tong-han was in. So after regrouping with the others, we decided to head out of the cave and we head back to where we came. On the way there was this area, remember that cave like-ish area, that tunnel that looks like a cave? Well, we went back in there and dear fucking god. There was an area which was completely fenced off from the other area, so we couldn't access it. So, what we saw in there, actually what other people saw in there, what seemed to be stalactites, were actually these massive bat-like creatures. Oh no, it's not the flying foxes and not those giant fruit bats from Philippines. It was straight up like fucking Camazot size. Although the darkness kind of obscured their color, I could tell it was some sort of dark brownish color. And the eyes, holy fucking shit, the eyes. They're fucking red. They're glowing red, like the eyes of a Pontianak. Everybody was mesmerized because we've seen nothing like it. I knew it was a cryptid of some sort. And then this dumbass kid, which I'm not gonna name for privacy reasons, obviously, he asked me to get a picture of the fucking bats. And which I, the only one with a common sense apparently all of a sudden, was like, hey, Gunny Nazibai, you think they won't notice a flash photo? These creatures were all we can talk about on the way back to the hotel. That stuck with me until I actually returned to Singapore. It took some time, and then one day I was watching this program from Man vs. Monster. It's this program I really recommend you guys to give a watch. But the whole thing really matches the descriptions of what I saw back in Tamanagara. So it turns out the thing that I saw that day was no other than the Orangbati, which is a type of cryptid that will go around villages and snatching children, similar to the Krampus of Germanic mythology. I've been seeing so much ghost in all my life, I just didn't think the day I actually go into a cave for the first time is the day I'll meet a cryptid. Anyways, I have way more stories to tell you guys, but that'll be a video for another day. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope it'll be like the old days, sitting around by the campfire telling ghost stories. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm Trick One Ting, and keep venturing to the unknown. Signing off.